And welcome to the 95th episode of Redeeming the Time. I'm your host, Jacob Wells. This is my dad, my co-host, Keith Evan Wells.
Come with a new name each week. All right, great.
Glad you joined us for yet another episode. We have done 95, Dad. We are 5 away from 3 digits. That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
All right, we're gonna.
So we're recording this on a Thursday. Tonight the Bengals play. It is
the Unk Bowl.
2 quarterbacks in their 40s. I heard one group call it the Icy Hot Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there might not be very many.
Can the
scored.
Bengals pull it off? Nobody thinks they can. Who knows?
You know, they'll probably get one game away and then lose the last game.
And Cowherd thinks he was saying 23-28, I think was what he predicted.
Pull it off the game.
That they would lose.
That they're going to.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying pull off the victory just tonight, not get
just
into
to beat,
the. What do you think about the playoffs?
Are
we shot?
That'll all depend on if Burrow can come back at all. So.
All right.
That's not what we want to talk about, but how can people contact us if they wanted to?
If you would like to contact the show, you can email us at redeemingthetimepod@gmail.com.
Yeah, leave comments too. If you've got questions or comments that you'd like to share that are questions.
Someone also said we've never asked or never said anything about leaving a 5-star review or rating on if you do Apple Podcasts.
Oh. Yeah, I'm always thinking YouTube, so yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like and comment for YouTube, but
only if it's a 5-star.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's weird. Good. I don't know how people do that. Whatever. So we got some more slang expressions that defined each decade.
Some folks were liking those.
Yeah. There's a few that we didn't say.
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah, that we completely forgot.
Like skibbity, you know.
Skibbity's old now, though. I mean, it's been around for a year and a half.
It's the stupidest one I think I've ever heard.
Oh, now I've heard
Skibbity, Ohio.
I heard now that 6-7 has already become old to where now it's 4-1.
What's 4-1?
Same thing as 6-7.
Don't. Everyone. Whatever. All right, slang expressions.
Right now.
From 1920s, there's 2 for each. So we're going back.
All right.
Okay.
Cheapers?
No, that's not on here at all. Bee's knees.
Oh.
You're the bee's knees.
You're the bee's knees.
What is that?
Bee's knees. You're cool. You're the best.
Yeah. The definitions for these are like something excellent and. No, you're cool. You're
very prominent. Yes.
You did.
Very
distinguished. You're cool. Yeah. Cat's pajamas.
It's the cat's pajamas. That's the same thing. That's cool. That's hip.
The best, high quality.
Yeah.
What is that?
Never heard that?
No.
You're
the cat's pajamas?
You've not watched very many old movies then.
What? I don't even understand.
See, growing up, like Channel 19 was like the repeat station, and all weekend long they'd show black and white movies. And
okay, but like bee's knees, it rhymes. It's bee's knees.
Cat's pajamas.
That doesn't make any sense.
Never heard that, huh?
There's not. It doesn't even rhyme. It doesn't even go together at all.
All right, it's a real one.
You're the big cheese.
We're in the 30s now.
30s.
You're the
big cheese.
You're the boss.
Yeah, an important person.
Yeah.
Big. I've heard that one. You're
big cheese.
Dr. Big Cheese. Yeah. You're big cheese.
That's one's hung around.
This one has definitely, at least in the circles that I've been in, my family, baloney. That's baloney.
That's baloney. Yeah.
Nonsense, not true.
You didn't really have to explain that one. Most people knew that one.
Baloney.
Okay, so we're into the 40s.
40s. Dreamboat.
Oh, you're just beautiful. Just
dream.
Yep.
Dream. You didn't
Callie
define it.
Callie thinks you're a dreamboat.
Yeah. Yeah. An
Just
attractive person.
A hunk, yeah.
Yeah. Killer Diller.
Killer Diller?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Never
think
heard
this
that
was
one.
A stretch.
Killer
Impressive. That's Killer Diller, dude. They probably didn't say dude in the 40s, but
Diller. They waited a couple decades for that. I've
it's
not heard
Killer
that
Diller.
one.
Hey, we got one on him.
Killer Diller.
You're a cool cat.
That's the 50s, yeah. If you watched Happy Days at all, you
What? But that's not just like you're the guy. You're a cool cat.
great.
What am I
You're
saying?
a cool cat. You got it together. You're the man.
No, it's not how this is defining. It's like a relaxed, like you're actually just laid back and cool.
Oh, all right. Okay.
We're getting into the
Okay.
time
I'm
frames.
saving battery here.
Daddy-o.
Hey, Daddy-o. Yeah.
It's like
It's
a buddy.
like a hipster.
Daddy-o.
Yeah.
Now
the
60s
60s.
now. That's groovy.
That word's still used.
Yeah. It's more of a joke now, I would say. Good vibes. That's how they defined it here,
Oh,
which
okay.
is definitely a 2010 thing. Vibes.
Yeah.
Far out.
Cool. Way out there, man. That's crazy.
Unconventionally
Stoner.
awesome.
Some stoner, man.
That's
You're way
far
out.
out, dude.
Yeah.
Boogie.
70s now for sure.
We're boogieing.
Yeah.
What's boogieing?
Boogie and dancing.
Busting a move. A fox.
Your mom.
A good-looking
Did you hear
person.
that, Leanne?
Good-looking person. She's shaking her head.
She's like, oh,
Her
boy.
face just got red. I can
Yeah.
guarantee. Even though no one can see her.
Yeah. Fox, someone that's beautiful.
The 80s.
I better know these.
Yeah. This is your
This is my era.
gnarly.
Gnarly dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And in parentheses, especially surfers.
Yeah.
Gnarly.
Or skateboarders.
Rad.
That's rad. That's cool. That's something really unique and cool. Yeah.
All of these are very similar. I found by doing this that a lot of them are just different ways to describe cool or something
Yeah.
hip, which
Yeah.
that's even one like, wow, I just something cool or something desirable.
Yeah.
Like you want to be rad, you want to be gnarly, based off of what you're doing. Like surfers want to be doing something
dude.
gnarly.
Yeah.
90s, whatever.
Whatever.
What is it, Jimmy Fallon? Does he say that? What does he say?
No.
What was that skit that he did? He did a whole song.
Oh yeah. What was that song?
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah. Whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
As if.
No way.
Yeah. Total rejection.
This is.
As if.
I think I heard Allie Banks say that with attitude to
Really?
her
As
parents.
if?
And Allie, if you're listening, you know I'm right.
We got 2000s. You got bling.
Bling, you got money.
What do they say now?
You got
The
I don't-
term or the thing is in this general area.
I don't remember.
Ice.
You got ice.
You got ice in
yeah,
your cup.
okay,
You got
yeah.
ice on your wrist. Chillax. Obviously, you should chill,
chill
relax.
out.
Chillax, dude. All right, 2010s. This is one of my least favorite because I lived through it. YOLO.
You only live once.
What did that elicit?
Like being willing to do anything.
Yeah, you do something stupid.
Adventurous,
YOLO, and then you jump off a bridge. Like,
Jump off a
no,
bridge.
that was like the big.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I get
There was
you.
this guy that would jump from really high bridges, say YOLO, and then
Hopefully with the parachute.
I don't know. Whatever. Selfie, obviously. This is one that has
It's not
transformed.
slang. It's,
It was.
all right.
It was.
Okay.
Because you didn't have the front camera. So you had to go like this, and you were taking a selfie.
Oh,
So that was slang. Now
Okay.
it's used in, like, when phones.
yeah. Okay.
All right, 2020s. I don't know if we did these. I think we did no cap, right?
Yeah, I did cap, no cap. Yeah.
And slay.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite right now, and I should not have said that.
Yeah.
And then this is one. This was 2010
Well, you
because
tell
we
'em what
said
slay
this.
means.
Slay is like, I don't even know. It's like do
It's-
something perfectly, or like
Yeah.
you're slaying this. Like
Yeah.
you're defeating something, but it's in a whatever stupid.
Like you're owning it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
owning it. All right, this is one that when I was in high school. This is one I used a lot. Lit.
Yeah.
That's lit.
Yeah, you did.
What's that? Again, amazing,
Amazing,
exciting.
cool.
that
Yeah.
That's lit, Dad. How many times did I say that?
Oh.
All right. This is the last time we're doing that. So if you have any, put it in the comments and
Yeah.
we can.
What was the one from when you were in high school?
Yeah, because
what were
that
the-
was only 2 per decade. There's
Oh yeah, we
plenty.
had all kinds. I mean, with the movies, the way they were coming out, there were tons of them. Just became the genre, the jargon for each genre and all that.
Yeah. Now that we're done, there's few that from, like you said, like teens in the youth group, they have their own.
Oh,
There's a few that
that are strictly friendship.
yeah, or they say it more.
Well, it
And-
really started a lot of slang. Well, that's not true, but a lot of slang when you started getting TV and you had the beach. There was this whole series of beach ones, Gidget. There was a whole beach culture, and everybody.
So a bunch of
yeah,
teens okay.
yeah. There
So
were
did
tons
that
of-
show just make them known, or did they create them?
I think it just made them known.
Yeah,
I remember when your sister was a little girl.
she watched Gidget.
Well, we went and Gidget was on, and it was was one of the first color shows. I guess for a while it'd been that, and Sally Fields is Gidget in that. There are Gidget movies too, but she was Gidget on the TV show. And Emily was like, when are new ones coming out? It's like, she's grandma's age. She's Nana's age. So,
That's funny.
yeah, it was pretty funny. But it was a good quality video, so it looked like it could have been a real show for today. Leanne and I were cracking up. We're like,
That's funny.
that's not happening.
I want the new episode.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Next season is not happening. All right. Well, let's get back to it. We ended last week we were sort of in the middle of showing the 7 churches. So chapters 2 and 3 of Revelation, the Lord speaks to these 7 churches. We gave, there's different ways to look at them. Last week we mentioned that they could be shown practically, meaning the direct church that it was being spoken to, from Ephesus down through the 7 to Laodicea. And then there were some things that are perennial problems in churches today and all through time, and those were mentioned. And then the one we didn't get to was the prophetical look at this. So any comments based on the other 2 looks that came up during the week that you thought of?
No, I was just kind of reminded I don't know about you, but my feed on YouTube, Instagram, sometimes I get these things of crazy stuff going on, like in churches or groups, and it kind of did remind me of what we were talking about here with like the perennial things of the same issues, just in a different light of
Right.
our culture today. So it did
Yeah,
it
the outwardly following but inwardly lacking the love, Ephesus.
yeah.
The Judaizing, where we're forcing things on folks that is outside the gospel. The caste system that we mentioned with Pergamos, that's just part of many denominations. What else did we have there? Idol worship with saints and
That's the one that I've
get
been seeing just based off of research that I've
yeah
been having. Like, it's YouTube, like it takes the algorithm obviously
yeah
of what videos you've watched, and so they throw that in there, and you're like, man, this is this is
yeah.
whatever.
Where's this come from?
Whatever church, I don't know exactly what church it was, but it was like,
Yeah,
this is it today.
Who was talking to? Brother Earl was talking to me this week, and he was talking about they just the Catholic Church just made a saint out of a young man that just died as a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, so people will pray to him or through him, they might say.
Yeah.
What that so it is still around today for sure. Go ahead.
Just a little context of why I'm doing the series of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and the questions were, how do you witness to
Different folks,
different
religions,
people, and Catholicism was one, and different ones that
Judaism.
pray to saints, pray through different people, and that's why. And it was just like, man, it's the same thing that John was like. Jesus told John here, like,
Yeah. It is a perennial problem. It
Yeah.
wasn't just a problem in Thyatira. Yeah. Sardis was a liberalism, great reputation, but very successful and active, but they were dead. Revival of Philadelphia, and then Laodicea, which is where materialism, where very monetarily doing great, but spiritually declining. So those are the perennial ones. Yeah.
There's also a few examples that made me think there's a mix between. Well, it was Sardis and Laodicea, where it's very. They might be looking like they're successful, but they're dead because of a materialistic type of view.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a mix. So these perennial isn't saying you're this one
You're
or
one
that
box.
one.
Yeah, sure. All of these are issues to look for and to be careful for, and we're not saying we're perfect. We're not saying that at all.
Yeah.
We have to watch out for these as well. I mean, mention that at the deacon ordination. I need guys helping that we keep this kind of false doctrine out of our church. Now, the last way to look at the seven churches is prophetically. There are folks that view this. I think you can read too much. You got to be careful on this, but that this also shows a sweeping view of the history of church, how the church through time has come about. So they would connect Ephesus with the post-apostolic church. So after the apostles have fallen off the scene, and there was a cooling or a settling in the early church that wasn't quite as bold as before. Then you get to Smyrna, and they would call that the
Persecuted age.
Yeah, the persecuted church, persecuted. And now this one I think is where it says in verse 10 of chapter 2 that there were tribulation 10 days. And if you look back, I think this is a bit forced, but if you look back through the history of the Roman Empire, there were 10 distinct persecutions by the Caesars. And the last one lasted for 10 years. I don't know.
Numerology.
Yeah, that's... I can make things look that way, but whatever. Either way, definitely persecution. That's for sure in the early church. And yet the church continued to the point where actually during the persecution, the church grew. I mean, when people were being martyred, the church has always grown during that time. And then so we have this cooling, and then we have this time of persecution that came about, and finally, or not finally is not about the right word, but then we get to what is in Pergamos, the patronized church, and the doctrine of Balaam in verse 14. Balaam instructed the king of Moab to go have the women unite with the Israelite men to corrupt it. And this is a similar type thing, because we talked about this in church history. Under Constantine, he marries the church and the state. Christianity comes in and becomes this religion within the empire that's recognized, and he marries it. And that point, that word Christendom, that's when that was born, and it really started to destroy part of the church and the church's purpose.
I also have the
at that time.
seduced church. I think you said that in one of your sermons.
The seduced church in that part?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be...
Because it's... Yeah, the marrying, that's a good phrase, because you're just...
You don't want the
joining them in.
persecution, and now it's accepted, and yes, that's a wonderful thing. And
Because it didn't start as just like, okay, we're Christian. It was just tolerated, and then it became slowly through Constantine's life that it was now it's the main one.
Yeah, politicians will always sweep in and use something to their advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just say it. The Charlie Kirk situation where he's assassinated, we have seen countless politicians jump on the bandwagon to claim. We have seen a lot of people come out, and it's renewed their faith, or it's led them toward Christ, and that's, to God be the glory. But we've also seen politicians use it to their advantage, because that's what politicians do many times. And so you see this marrying sometimes through, and obviously these aren't the only two instances. Hundreds of instances where that occurs, and Christians need to beware. I mean, we need to be harmless as a dove, but we need to be as wise as a serpent, and that kind of thought. So.
Yeah, because you also see it the other way when it's something not even revolved around that. Like, there's been things that politicians have used as a way to get in, and it's the same tactic, but when you put it into a religious thing, then people are like, oh no, they're actually doing it for good. Well, it's the same thing. So it's the same tactic.
Well, then
don't be naive. Not saying this to anybody, but then,
we shouldn't be naive.
Yeah.
Well, because then it ties into the next one. You've got the patronized church, and then at Thyatira, the woman Jezebel. This is the papal church. The power behind the throne now, and it winds up to where the church of the empire, which is Christendom, starts persecuting those that really want to follow the real church. And we enter the dark age during this time, and Christendom starts to grow. As it doesn't grow because people are actually coming to Christ. For the most part, it's growing because it is consuming pagan nations. They're going in these pagan nations, and but with that, they absorb their festivals and their ceremonies. They'll take priests of a pagan religion and convert them to now they're priests of the empire. And we have this marrying of that. I mean, you look back at our traditions at Christmas and Easter and all kinds of things. Some of that comes from pagan origins, not the message of Christ and by any means. But you start looking at, and every time you get to Christmas or Easter, you have YouTube videos of why do you have a Christmas tree and all this stuff. It's become something different to us now. But at the time, they're pulling these. You want to be part of the empire, and you'll fight for Rome. Well, pledge your allegiance and be baptized, and
you can still do.
They don't know Christ.
Yeah.
They're just absorbed into that. And so we see the sweeping history of the Roman Church growing at that point.
So when looking at different views, we don't have to get into that like right now, but with these churches, are there any people that don't agree with the prophetic, like
Oh,
that
sure.
were misinterpreting that, or I don't think you can disagree with the perennial or the practical, at least the practical, because it's written
The
to
practical
those.
is obviously, yeah.
But does anybody are
Sure.
there thought like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
you're just reading into you're that's a stretch, that oh, that was during the persecuted age, like you're just making that up.
Yeah, I could see people. I mean, people disagree that the whole stance, and if we get to this today or next week, I mean, there are major views of the flow of the book of Revelation, and we talked about this in church on Wednesday night. If you lean more covenant theology, you're going to have a different view. You're going to spiritualize a lot of this. Versus if you're mostly dispensational in your view, you're going to see these are literal things that take place. And they are fulfillments of covenants that God has made and promises that of other things as well. So, yeah. I mean, I'm taking this as a literal interpretations, and I think this is part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, sure. There's always people that disagree on those types of things.
yeah, because like the tribulation 10-day thing, 10-year, that whole thing, like I do agree, like that's it.
Yeah.
I haven't done my research, but
Yeah, you can start those types of things. You can really start to manipulate to fit. But I think let me put it this way: if that was the only thing in there that connected this, that I could only find those 10, and none of the other stuff fell in line, that would be forcing it.
yeah.
But to me, my personal belief as you look through this by teaching and looking at the verses, this shows the actual flow. Now, you wouldn't have known this 400 years ago because you would have been right in the midst of most of this. But all of this has come about now, and we sit in a spot in time where we can look back over 2,000 years of history of the church and see what has happened.
So are we in the materialistic Laodicea then? Because we haven't done Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea.
It would be the modern day church. I believe is in Laodicea. As you go through these 7, we ended with the papal church at Thyatira. Then you go to Sardis, and this is.
I haven't thought about it. I didn't research, to be honest with you, the prophetical. So.
Oh, okay.
Now, can I guess?
Yeah.
Well, not Sardis, but I think. Go ahead, do Sardis, and then I'll guess what Philadelphia.
Okay, so you're coming out of the Middle Ages, so you're hitting into Reformation,
which is Philadelphia.
Well, that would be before then. That would be Sardis, which would be the Protestant church. Comes out from the Reformation. You're getting.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah. So, this is where men like Wycliffe and Huss and Luther and Zwingli and Calvin, and it grows very quickly out of that.
Yeah.
Then you get to Philadelphia. Philadelphia it says an open door in chapter 3, verse 8. And that's exactly what we see here. It's an era of revival and missions. You have Wesley and Moody and Finney and Carey and David Livingston, Jeremiah Adoniram Judson. Missions has started, and God brought the church back to himself in this time. The Protestant into the practical, and this era of revival and missions.
Up until we don't have to put a year, but
right,
where everything the factories came out and you could get stuff whenever you wanted, and now
Yeah, so that you get to the modern day church.
everything is about stuff now.
Yeah, and 3:16, the famous term, it's lukewarm. And that's what we see here. It's wealthy, it's worldly, carnal, compromised for the most part. And there's this call to separate. So that's sort of the, if you follow that prophetical look, I think there's enough there to say, yeah, I think there is another layer to the onion here. There's the practical layer that, and then as you dig deeper down into that, there's the perennial and the prophetical. I think you can look at all three of these the seven churches and look at it all three ways.
Yeah.
I do believe that is true.
So
to different levels.
So with us believing that we're in Laodicea, do people use that as saying there's not another church here, so we're getting to end times?
Yeah.
Is that an argument for people?
Yeah, there's no more. I mean,
there's not
we're in the
one.
last days. And now let's add one more thing to this before we get to chapter 4, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So layer this then with, if you go back to, let's go to, to Daniel. Put yourself in Daniel. I'm in Jeremiah. That's not that.
It's not Daniel.
Yeah, it's not Daniel. Put yourself in Daniel chapter 2 and Daniel chapter 7. These are prophetical visions that Nebuchadnezzar has. And, before we do that, if you do look at those, the seven churches using the prophetical, there is this, the first four are like right after each other. They're like successive in what happens. But once you get to that fourth one, they just sort of stay. They just build upon each other. The papal era, it's still there. The Protestant era is still there. Philadelphia, we're still doing missions, and the present era. So we see they sort of build on each other. I had that in there. I wanted to say that.
Yep.
Okay. So as we look at this, we see the history of the church, but it also sets us on the history of man as we go through. So God, go ahead.
We talked about this.
Did we?
Episode 38 when we went through the Bible.
Oh,
so
okay.
I just want to reference that, so if they want more, because we're not going to go verse by verse here.
Yeah,
but we did.
Don't repeat too much, but it's all right. It's a long
the
time
same.
ago.
It's the
This is
same.
a year ago.
It's a different topic. That was a.
Yeah.
So episode 38, we did talk. We went through Daniel 4 till the end of the book and other books, but that is for reference if you want to go back and listen.
So we look at the history of the church. Well, God also gives us now in prophecy, he gives us a history of man, or the Gentile empires. And this is important because as we get into Revelation, God allows the Gentiles to come to full fruition. That they reach their end. And then God's work with Israel will resume after this 2,000-year parentheses, and the church age, or the age of grace, will be over, and now we start to see these end time events that are going to occur. So if you go to in Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar has this dream. He has all these soothsayer guys around him, and he demands an answer. Tell me what my magicians and astrologers, it says, and sorcerers. And he says, tell me my dream. What does my dream mean? But I'm not going to tell you what my dream is. So what? Okay, we could tell you what your dream means if you tell us what it is.
You can make up something.
Yeah, sure, I could make up something too. So then they go and they find Daniel in verse 29, and Daniel tells the dream, and then in verses 37 through 45, he interprets the dream. Thou, O king, art a king of kings. From the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, that he giveth into thine hand, hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So he talks about we should probably read 29 through 35. Verse 31. O king, sawest thou, behold, a great image whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. And the image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon the feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the pieces together, and became like a chaff of the summer threshing floor. All right? The end of that. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. Okay, so now he explains it. And he starts explaining that these are empires that are going to come about. And he tells them at the end of verse 38, you, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian Empire, are the head of gold. And after these shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And a fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise. All right? And he talks about the miry clay, and the toes are part iron and part clay of that. All right, so we have that. And now you go to Daniel chapter 7. And in Daniel chapter 7, you have the same details of a world empire. A little different in how it says it. In the first year, Belshazzar, king Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon the bed. Then, I saw...
Verse 3.
Yeah, verse 3. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. And I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet of a man, and the man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. And it raised up itself one side, and had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it, and so it devoured the flesh. 6. After this I beheld, lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. And after this I saw in the night visions, behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. All right? So, what?
It's just so... I love this.
Oh. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came upon them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Okay. So these are both similar. They're speaking of the same thing. One is this giant statue made of different things. The other one are 4 different beasts, but yet they're speaking of the same thing. So
what are the 4?
Okay, so let's go through these. The head, and these are like undeniable. These aren't like,
yeah.
You don't disagree with these. These there's too much data showing these.
Verse 2, it talks about the great sea. In verse 3, it says it came up from the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these that we're talking about were always around a specific sea, the Mediterranean Sea. So I also saw that studying it this time.
There's also, we'll come back to that in a little bit. But so this great image, gold head, silver arms, brass belly and thighs, iron legs, and feet and toes made of iron and clay. It's a man-made structure, and Daniel tells us the interpretation. It represents the empires of Gentiles. The gold is the Babylonian Empire, built by a man. Nebuchadnezzar, his son Nebuchadnezzar, they bring this to full power. This is the lion with eagle's wings of Daniel 7. And this, starts in 626 BC and goes from Nebuchadnezzar to Belshazzar. Go ahead.
Yeah, the lion and eagles they're majestic beings, and they're often viewed as like the king figures in the animal kingdom. Like the eagle's the biggest bird, the lion is the king of the.
Yeah.
So, Jeremiah also uses lion and eagle as a descriptor of Nebuchadnezzar, and so it fits well with the majesty and the authority of the Babylonians, specifically with Nebuchadnezzar as the thing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I feel it is undeniable once looking back, seeing what the kingdoms were, how they went about different things, how they ran their kingdoms, and then looking at what these animals and what happens in this prophecy.
Right.
It's
So the next one that comes after that, what happens? We know the Babylonian Empire is taken over by the Medes and the Persians, and the Medo-Persian Empire. It was first Medes, then it's first Persian, then Medes, and so the Medo-Persian Empire, the two sides of this, so the chest and arms of silver, and then in Daniel 7, this is the bear with the 3 ribs in its mouth. And, this goes from King Cyrus to King Darius III. And I wish I don't have it in my notes about the 3 ribs in the mouth.
I think it was the 3 big kings, right? Wasn't it?
I don't remember. I got to look that up. I apologize for not having that.
Oh, the 3 main conquests between Babylon, Egypt, and Lydia.
That was it. Yeah, I knew there was something really cool there.
Which made them the top of the food chain with those 3 in their mouth.
Yeah, good.
Because the bear...
Glad you remembered it.
Because the bear... It's in my notes. I didn't remember.
Is that right?
The bear is a bigger, stronger animal than... Like, a lion is going to stalk... That type of thing. A bear, what does that do? They don't stalk. They go brute force. And that's kind of what the Medo-Persians did. They overpowered you by the numbers and sheer size of the armies. And that's what they did. They just wiped out as they went. Yeah. Like, your best against my best. We're bigger than you. We're taking you over.
Playing Risk, and I've got 25. You've got 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next one. So what happens after the Medo-Persians? Well, we know the Greek Empire comes about. And this one's very interesting because this one's so precise. And, the belly and the thighs of brass. The empire had brass helmets. Remember, all of this is before any of it occurs except for Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
This is all complete prophecy of what's going to happen. And it's so accurate that's just amazing. They had brass helmets, they had brass shields, even some of their swords had brass. It started by Philip of Macedon. Obviously, Alexander's the one that makes it the empire. And the cool part about it is then this is the leopard. That was a symbol that they used. They were incredibly quick, which, once again, you've got the leopard there, one of the fastest animals on earth. But then it has 4 wings and 4 heads. And if you remember anything of the history there, Alexander dies at a very young age. What happens to that empire?
Splits into 4 parts.
Yeah, splits into 4 different parts. And, cool stuff there.
Going back to before it happened, so Daniel was the contemporary to the Babylon, like he lived during the Babylonians.
Right.
But he did see the first king of Persia.
Yes.
So those 2, that hadn't happened at this point, but he did see it, right?
Correct.
And so, the leopard and the unknown terrible beast, indescribable beast, those were So in Daniel's, I don't know. I like looking at it from Daniel's perspective of, okay, I don't know these.
Yeah.
I know the Babylonians. I'm part of it. I was ranked.
But it is fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah.
This isn't like, we don't know how this is going to happen. Like we're going to see a lot in Revelation here. But this builds on that. We know, based on this, as it ties in, because so much else of Daniel hasn't happened yet, and will tie in. If this is real to such a degree, not symbolically, it happened. I mean, those representations are real. So what happens after that? After the Greek Empire, we have the Roman Empire. And it's two legs of iron, the iron heel of Rome, and it eventually splits, like the two legs, splits into the Eastern and Western Roman Empire. And it was the beast of Daniel 7. And they did rule with iron. There was no kindness. There was, it was just brutal. And then this feat of iron and clay comes about because it eventually starts to weaken. And it's this mixture of both. You've got the 10 toes, and you've got the 10 kingdoms not kingdoms, somewhat kingdoms with inside of that. I've got a couple cool things here. All man-made but not lasting. Each of these starts to just eventually will decline. And there's a downward spiral in the image and the empires. Anatomically, you go from head to toe. So we're showing the end of man, all right? That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going head to toe. We're going from gold to clay. Someone, I don't know who I got this from, even if you're a nerd, even the physical nature or characteristics of metal here. This is funny. Even the specific gravity of the different things. You've got gold at 19.3, silver at 10.5, clay all the way down at 1.9. I mean, it is a decaying substance there, just as we see this. So the downward spiral of man. And this is important because we live in an age today that thinks we're the greatest thing that's ever been on the face of the planet. That is not true. We are technologically advancing, but we are spiraling away from what we used to be. And evolution says we're getting better. Well, that's not what we're seeing in mankind. Humanism points to that. That's not what we see. God shows us as morally declining. And even the laws of this world show that we're declining. If you look at you look at entropy, what happens? It goes from order to disorder. And that's what we're seeing in this world, going from order to disorder. And a person that's wise will observe this and heed it.
You can also argue that it's physically declining as well, like our body,
Our
because
bodies
of disease.
Our world, we're running resources continue to decline. Yeah.
Well, and it's the notion that we have all the technology and the medicine to make us feel better, but why do we need the medicine? Because we are decaying. There's more medicine now in the world than ever before.
Yeah.
Because we are trying to fix what we were designed for.
Daniel
to go back to that is
correct.
what I said that wrong.
Daniel speaks in Daniel 12:4 about the time of the end, that many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So this speaks of, our life is rapid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have more information that comes to me in an hour that most people my grandfather's age got in an entire week. I mean, that's just how it is. Technology used to double every 8 months, and now I would guess with AI that has been slashed, to 25% of that number. Who knows? And as we look at this, verse 33 talks about iron and clay, these 10 toes, speaking of some strong and some weak. Daniel 7 gives more detail about that. It's an empire made up of 10 kingdoms.
Provinces.
Yeah,
Type of
provinces. I would call them countries. This is where we are today. This is a kingdom that's maybe in place. Maybe it's the EU. Maybe it's not part of the EU. In 1957 in Rome, the European Common Market was formed. But there were a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries, because of the Soviet Union, this is way before you, could not be part of it. Well, when I was in high school in 1989, Reagan stood there and told Gorbachev to knock down this wall, and it happened. In 1989, that occurs. And that wasn't when Reagan was there, but in 1989, the actual wall came down. Now there's no obstruction for the Eastern Bloc countries of Europe to come in. And we have the EU. It's one of the strongest markets in the world. And so we see this come about. Because look at the end of Daniel 7, verse 8. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And he talks of this, and there's this man that will control. All right, we're getting into our chapters. We're getting this man that's going to control, and he's known as the Antichrist. So what do we do? Well, go back to chapter 2 and verses 34 and 35, and we'll end with this, if that's okay with you. Yeah. Excuse me. Go ahead and read those if you want. 34 and 35.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth.
All right. So we got all these kingdoms of man, and how they're weakening, and all of this, and eventually there's going to be this one little horn. This guy is going to come, and he's going to control. And we get despondent, or what's going to happen and all this. But God doesn't leave us there. He tells us of the stone cut out without hands. And he's going to bring an eternal kingdom here. This is the same stone that when you go back to, you see how this links through the Bible. You go back to Exodus chapter 17. This was the rock that was smitten and water flowed out of it. In 1 Corinthians, this is the rock which they drank. In Romans 9, this is the stone which the builders rejected. In Isaiah 28, it's the chief cornerstone. This is Jesus Christ. And he is returning, and he's going to come, and he's going to come in power. And we don't have to fear, because this is important. This is real information, and God is warning us, and he's telling us, turn to him and come to him. And if you don't know Christ as your Savior, look through history. Don't be blind to what the Word of God says. It's shown us over and over and over again. These things are real. And we need to realize that and put our heart and put our trust in Jesus Christ. So I'll end with that. It's a good place to stop?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you don't want to. We don't
want to go.
We want to go into next time. We're hoping to get to next week into some major thoughts of flows that people believe, and then into chapter 4.
Yep.
Let's try to do both of those next week.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, or?
I don't. Every week, I don't want to say it every week, but I read John Phillips, and he also says it in here. His book, Exploring Revelation. He talked about the intimidation of, like, all right, now we're at chapter 4. Now it's like, what am I reading?
Yeah.
And so,
but it all ties together. We see here.
It does, and even because I was gonna ask you how Daniel 7, Daniel 2 get, like, how to correlate it to what we're talking about, the book of Revelation. You did that,
mm-hmm.
but even the throne room in chapter 4 and all these different views of this, like, that's why we're doing it, and that's why we're probably going to be doing this series for the rest of the year, if I had to guess.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, without a doubt,
it's just it's important. It is very important.
If you remember the first week we started this, that we talked about how it'll go from heaven back to earth, heaven to, and I think those, like, chapter 4 is so critical, and we'll say this again next week, but it's so critical because you read about the churches and you start to get depressed, and and then he's like, no, look
how marvelous.
Look at God.
Yeah.
You've got nothing to worry about.
Not just look at God, but look at how the creatures, the cherubims, the elders, look at him, and hopefully that whets their appetite.
Yeah, that's a good place to stop.
All right, what do you call a cow's knees?
What?
A burger joint.
That's pretty good. I've never heard that one. Who's that from?
Mom, did you hear that? He said your joke is good.
That was good, huh?
But I will not say she's funny till the day I die.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks for joining us. And there's some questions or comments that maybe we can share. We'd appreciate it. And guys, have a great week. Love you. Bye.